Hey guys, Mike here. So today I'm going to do a crypto update because I hadn't done one in a while because there's been nothing really going on. As we know, we're in this volatile market, in the stock market and the crypto market. But I'm going to go over the chart, show you what's happening, show you something that to me is very important and is key, and also is another indicator that there's no way we can possibly be in a bear market in crypto right now. Doesn't mean we're not going to go down any further, but not a bear market. Also, what's going to happen this year most likely is going to send crypto pretty much parabolic, which is what we're all waiting on, and I'll show you what has to happen on that and go through that chart. And then also some things that just is happening that signifies there's no way this can be a bear market. If it is, there's a lot of stupid people out there who really aren't stupid. I mean, you don't get to be billionaires because you're a dummy, okay? And so we're going to talk about that, and then I'm going to pose a question to you in this video that I hadn't heard anybody else address or even be asked. And so I'm going to ask you, because I want your answer in the comments. Tell me what you think about this, and of course I'll give you my perspective on it, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the Bitcoin chart first, and then we'll go into altcoins and then the rest of it. Okay, and starting off with Bitcoin's chart, we're still in that downward trend, and the fear and greed obviously got down to 10 just about a week ago, popped back up at 21, but we're still in extreme fear right now, as you can see, and we continue to hover around that $42,000 level. And we keep breaking it, coming back above it, but eventually if we do break down, which a lot of people think we are, we're heading somewhere between 30, 34,000, somewhere in that range, which wouldn't surprise me one bit if that actually happened. And this is something that came out on Twitter here, guys. It's the entity adjusted dormancy flow of Bitcoin. And you can see right here, there's a buy signal whenever it gets in that shaded area right there, which has only happened 5 other times, it looks like. And we're entering that shaded area again, as you can see to the far right. But if you look to the left and come over to the right, you can see every time we hit it, there's a massive move up. Doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow, but at some point in time, when you look at that chart, you can see it doesn't just happen overnight, guys. So don't think that for a second. And one thing that's causing all the volatility right now, of course, is the leverage we're using right now. Or I'm not using any of it, but a lot of people are. And you can see what's kind of strange, though, is Bitcoin is going down. The leverage is actually going up right now. Usually that's not the case. You look through this chart, you can see usually as the leverage goes up, you can see it's in line with Bitcoin's price movement. And there's been a couple other times we've seen this part ways, but all this leverage is what's causing these major swings and liquidations. Then we move over to Ethereum. You can see right here, guys, that downward trending line, it still can't break above it. And there we are around the $3,000 support level. It's already broke every other level coming down. The next one's around 2,700, then 2,200, then around 1,775. And so if we continue trending downward, obviously it'll break that soon and it'll be a big fall, which a lot of people are kind of expecting and then not expecting because of this right here. Let's move over to Link real quick. You can see I talked about that one. It's still on its upward trend here. Stops, consolidates, breaks down. We have these massive sell-offs, but it's still trending upwards. Some people are targeting around $36 for this right here in the coming months. Then you go over to Atom. Atom the same way. Nice upward trend right here. Consolidates, moves up. Did set an all-time new high, if I'm not mistaken, about a week ago here at around 45. And Atom should continue to move up over the next few weeks if there's nothing crazy going on in the market, because it has that technical setup I showed you last week on the weekly chart. And then going to ADA, obviously it can't get out of its own way. Tries to do a breakout, then fails, and so this continues the downtrend. And then going over to Maddox. Maddox, I showed you this one before. Not a whole lot of people own this small cap. It's like the top 10 wallets own like 70% of it or something like that. And you can see it respects the support and resistance levels, but the one thing about this one is it loves that range between like $1.90 to $2.45. I mean, it constantly, a lot of people swing trade this, which is one reason it has a problem getting above $2.45, because you can just see the chart right there. I mean, if you're buying around $2, actually $1.90, most likely it's going to come up to $2.45 in a matter of weeks. So it makes for a nice swing trade. The problem is trying to push it above that one. And the one thing that's got a lot of people excited about altcoins, obviously, is because of the dominance, right? Bitcoin dominance is dropping. You can see these altcoins right here. They're holding up very well and have held up very well as Bitcoin has been dropping, especially Atom, Maddox, and a few others. And so that's got a lot of people excited about altcoins, and some people think they're going to move much higher in the coming weeks. And of course, this leads me to, the fact that I cannot imagine this being a bear market right now for crypto, because there's just too many people who are in this sector here that are buying at these levels. Does that mean it can't go down to 30,000? Obviously not, of course. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if Bitcoin went down to 30,000 at all. But the fact that a Binance Whale wallet added 43,000 Bitcoin to its reserves, reported January 6th. Then you got MicroStrategy purchased an additional 1,914 Bitcoins for $94.2 million in cash and an average price of $49,229. So that puts their average right now around 30,159 per Bitcoin right now. And what's funny is these purchases, I read about a lot of other purchases I didn't put in here, but it really just goes back to, if you look at when they're purchasing, when the fear factor falls below 30, they start purchasing. This is when people are loading in. You see how to the right there how low it is, and every time it gets this low, it ends up exploding. Obviously, you had this big, long, 6 months where it just held below 30, but then you got this huge explosion up. So it could definitely stay these levels for a long time. That wouldn't surprise me. Then, of course, there's more good news like Tonga, which is a country made of 136 islands. They're going to copy El Salvador's bill and actually adopt Bitcoin as legal tender there. And then if you go on, you got Visa putting out a survey to about 2,500 different companies, which turned out that 25% of small businesses across 9 countries plan to offer crypto payments of some kind in 2022. And there's this billionaire right here who's the chairman for Interactive Brokers. He used to warn about Bitcoin and, how you shouldn't invest in it. And then, all of a sudden in 2021 and 2022, here he is saying, hey, you need to have at least 3% of your wealth in some form of cryptocurrency. Really, Bitcoin and Ethereum is what he's talking about. But it's just funny to hear him change his tune. And so again, maybe it's me, but when I see somebody like Michael Saylor, who's worth a whole boatload of money, buying Bitcoin at the levels they're at now and loading up, not just buying them, but loading up on them. And he just believes in dollar cost averaging into it, right? I mean, obviously he actually brought his cost basis up most likely by doing that. And then this other billionaire who's irrelevant saying, no, yep, you need to go ahead and have some in there. And other billionaires I've seen out there saying, yep, I'm going ahead and converting and putting some of my wealth into it and stuff like that. There's obviously something to it, but in this case, right now in this moment, it just makes no sense for them to be buying at these levels if they believe we're heading into a bear market, because they would just wait, right? They're very patient. They're very smart. You don't get to be a billionaire if you're a dummy, or, maybe you inherited it, but most of these guys either just, work their butts off to get there. Maybe, yes, there's some luck involved to get to be a billionaire maybe, but obviously they made some pretty dang sound investments, and they have research teams behind them. They're not the only ones making these decisions. And so, that's kind of where I'm at with that. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. And the thing that's going to have to happen, understand you can tell about the VIX index, is an extremely volatile market, not just in crypto, but in the stock market. We know crypto, especially Bitcoin, follows the market, right? And so as the stock market goes, Bitcoin is going to go, and most of the crypto market will as well. And so, what we're looking at here, obviously, is 2018's chart here, guys. And this is, to me, the most similar thing that's happening right now. You can see in 2018, for those who've seen this before, 4 rate hikes. They were tapering. They were talking decreasing the balance sheet of the Fed, that is. And you can see extreme volatility, major sell-offs, that kind of stuff. But what do you see go on here from May all the way into almost November? Major move up. And this is the NASDAQ. And, because the NASDAQ's high growth stock. So that, to me, that's more like Bitcoin to me. And so now you see that is a massive run. And this, to me, is what's going to happen this year when all this money on the sidelines, and there's a boatload of it on the sidelines right now. At some point in time, when all these stocks are just beat down and crypto's beat down, all this money from institutions and billionaires and whales and all that stuff, it will flood back in. It always does, okay? That don't mean after it floods in, everything runs up. Obviously, you see that chart. There's a major crash after that, 22% on the NASDAQ. But at some point in time, I just believe that will happen this year. Now, of course, the Fed, good Lord, they're all over the place. And I wish they'd just come out and really just say, yes, we're going to decrease the balance sheet or whatever we're going to do. They're still wishy-washy. But, right now there is that uncertainty. But eventually there's not going to be the uncertainty. All that money's going to be sitting there. And we know the institutions love to manipulate all the markets. and they're going to sit there and beat these stocks down and beat them down. The FANG stocks are selling off. They're going to sell those off. And then at some point in time, it's just by the billions or trillions, it's going to come flowing in to the stock market. And when that stock market starts to take off, Bitcoin's coming right behind it. And then that'll lift up the other cryptos as well. And then I think hopefully that's when you get your all-time new high. And then you have your altcoin season, that kind of stuff. And so I think that's what's going to happen. That's just my opinion. That's what the charts tell me. Let me know in the comments what you think. I could be totally, absolutely crazy on that. But that's what I believe is going to happen. We just have to basically wade through this BS right now of a market we're in right now as institutions are rotating and doing all this other stuff. And so we'll see. But anyway, let me know what you think. Hopefully you guys admire that. I really appreciate you watching. Hit the like, subscribe button if you did, guys. Share the video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.